Fifth grade, chapter 7, lesson 4, multiply fractions. Investigate. Jan is making reusable grocery bags and lunch bags. She needs 3/4 yard of material to make a grocery bag. A lunch bag needs 2/3 of the amount of material a grocery bag needs. How much material does she need to make the lunch bag? So you took your sheet of paper and you folded it vertically. You folded it the lengthways, right? And you fold it into 4 pieces. And then it said to shade 3/4 yellow, but we just shaded 3/4 of it lightly with your pencil, right? Then you were supposed to take that same paper and fold it 3 ways horizontally. So then you folded it like you were getting ready to put it in an envelope like you're mailing a letter, right? Then it wanted you to shade 2/3 of it yellow, or of the yellow sections blue, but you guys just darkly shaded your lightly shaded stuff, right? Okay. So count the number of sections into which the whole paper is folded. So how many rectangles are formed by all the folds in the paper? So how many total sections did you guys have? 12. What fraction of the whole sheet of paper does one rectangle represent? So it'd be 1/12 because there's 12 parts and you're only taking one part of it. Count the sections that are shaded twice and record the answer. So you guys found out that you had 6 sections darkly shaded out of 12, which 6/12 also equals 1/2. So Jane used half a yard of material to make a lunch bag. Draw conclusions. Explain why you shaded 2/3 of the yellow sections blue rather than shading 2/3 of the whole. So basically, they wanted 2/3 of 3/4. They didn't want 2/3 of a whole, right? So therefore, we wouldn't have done the whole thing. Analyze what you are finding if a model shows half of the sheet of paper shaded yellow and 1/3 of the yellow section shaded blue. So basically, it's taking what we learned up here, but just applying it down here. And we learned that we wanted half of 1/3, and basically we took 1/2 times 1/3 to get 1/6. Make connections. You can find a part of a part in different ways. Margot and James both correctly solved the problem 1/3 times 3/4 using the steps shown. Use the steps to show how each person found 1/3 times 3/4. So we're going to figure out how Margot found hers first. Shade the model to show 3/4 of the whole. So how many of those parts are we going to shade? 3 of them. How many 1/4 pieces did you shade? 3. 3 1/4 pieces. To find 1/3 of 3/4, circle 1/3 of the 3 1/4 pieces that are shaded. You would just circle one of these pieces, right? What part of the whole is 1/3 of the shaded pieces? So basically, how many total parts did we have here, guys? 4. And then we circled 1. So 1/4 of the whole. So 1/3 times 3/4 is 1/4. Now James, shade the model to show 3/4 of the whole. So how many of those sections am I going to shade? 3. Divide each 1/4 piece into thirds. So then we're going to take our pencil and make these into third size pieces. What part of the whole is each small piece? So now that we broke each of those 3 pieces, or those 3 pieces into smaller pieces, technically we need to break this into pieces too. So we broke all of those pieces into third size pieces. So how many total little pieces do we have now? We had 4 pieces to begin with, and then we broke each one of those into 3. So 4 times 3 is 12. So we have 1/12 size pieces. To find 1/3 of 3/4, circle 1/3 of each of the 3 1/4 size pieces that are shaded. So we are going to circle only one of each of those 1/3 size pieces, right? So 1, 2, 3. So how many 1/12 size pieces are circled?
3.
We circled 3, right? So 1/3 times 3/4 is, so how many 1/12 size pieces do we have? So 3/12, which also equals 1/4. Pose a problem that can be solved using the equation above. So basically, we want to use the 1/3 and the 3/4, but we need to come up with a word problem that we could use to go with that. And usually with circle fraction pieces and things like that, usually we associate pizza or pie or things like that. So we came up with there was 3/4 of a pizza left over. Bob ate 1/3 of the leftover pizza. How much of the entire pizza did Bob eat? Share it and show. Use the model to find the product. So they want 3/5 times 1/3. So basically, how many total pieces do they have there, guys? 15. How many are colored in? 3. And then we have to write that in simplest form. So what is 3/15 in simplest form? 1/5. Over here, let's see, how many total pieces did they have? 5. So they had 5 total pieces and they colored 3 of it in. So that gives us the 3/5 part, right? Then they only want 2/3 of that. So how many of those colored pieces am I going to circle? 2. So now what am I left with? How many colored pieces are circled? 2. And then how many total pieces are there for the whole? 5. So my answer would be 2/5. Find the product. Draw a model. So first of all, we are going to draw a box. How many pieces do I need to break that box into? 5. Well, let's do the first one first. 2/3, right? So 3 sections. How many of those 3 sections am I going to lightly shade? 2. So you need to lightly shade 2 of those sections. Now, how many pieces am I going to break that into the opposite way? 5. So, but of those 5 sections, how many am I going to color in? 1. And only one of what I have already colored in, right? Am I going to go over here into the white? No. So I am just going to color in 2 boxes technically, right? Okay. So how many total boxes did I have? 15. And then how many did I color in? 2. How many were double colored in, right? 2. So my answer is 2/15. Okay, let's look at number 4. 1/2 times 5/6. So I'm going to draw my box. how many sections do I need to begin with? 2. And then how many of those 2 do I color in? 1. And you're going to lightly shade that in first. Then you're going to darkly shade in. How many sections am I going to break that whole box into going the opposite way? 6, right? Now, out of those 6 that I just broke that into, how many am I going to color in? 5. But am I going to color in any of the whites?
No.
No, I am just going to darkly shade, or I'm using a different color since I'm using the Smart TV, but you're only going to darkly shade 5 of these 6 over here that we've already shaded, right? So how many total boxes do I have on that whole thing? 12. And then how many are double shaded? Or are darkly shaded? 5. So my answer is 5 12. Now, you have the option of taking it and drawing these boxes each time and then figuring out using the models how to do that. Now, I have also taught you already how to go ahead and multiply fractions. You have only done it so far with whole numbers, but what have I made you do every time so far with your whole numbers when you multiply?
Over a 1.
Over a 1. So say if you had a 3, I told you to write 3 over 1, right? In this case, they don't have a whole number, they already have fractions, but you've already learned when you multiply the numerator times the numerator, and the denominator times the denominator. So let's go ahead and set up the next one like I've already taught you. So we would have what? 3/5 times 1/3. And like I said, I have taught you, you multiply the numerator times the numerator, the denominator times the denominator. So 3 times 1 is 3, and 5 times 3 is that in simplest form?
No.
No. What is it in simplest form? 1/5. All right, next one, I'm going to write 3/4 times 1/6. Numerator times numerator, so 3 times 3 times 1 is 3. 4 times 6 is 24. Is that in simplest form? No. What is this in simplest form? Not 1/6. 1/8. 8 times 3 is 24. Next one, I'm going to write 2/5 times 5/6. So I'm literally just rewriting what I already have, right guys? Numerator times numerator. So 2 times 5 is 10. 5 times 6 is 30. So is that in simplest form? Nope. What would that be simplest form? 1/3. And circle your answer. Once again on number 8, I'm just rewriting it like I see it. Then numerator times numerator. So what am I going to multiply? Which is 15. Then what's my next thing? 6 times 5, which is 3. Is that in simplest form?
No.
No. So what is that simplest form like? 1/2. So, like I said, it is up to you what you want to do. I will take it with the model drawn, and then you give me your answer, or I will take it here where you show your work, and then give me your answer in simplest form. So it is up to you which one you would like to do. Okay?